I still remember the exact moment I knew we had to leave. It wasn't the eviction notice taped to the door like some dramatic movie scene. It was quieter than that. It was the way my 5-year-old son looked up at me from the couch, holding his little stuffed shark, and asked in the smallest voice, "Mommy, why is Daddy yelling at the TV again?" I didn't answer him. I just felt something inside me crack wide open. Not anger, not yet. Just this deep, exhausted sorrow. Because I realized right then that my child was already learning what fear sounded like. And I couldn't let that be the soundtrack of his childhood. That night, I packed 2 suitcases while my ex was out running errands, which everyone knew meant the casino 2 towns over. I didn't take much. A few changes of clothes for each of us, his favorite shark, my son's asthma inhaler, the birth certificates, and the one photo of us 3 together from when things still felt possible. I left the rest. The furniture we'd bought on credit. The dishes we argued over who got to pick. The life we'd pretended was working. We ended up in my friend Sarah's dining room. She had a tiny 1-bedroom apartment and still said yes without hesitating. We slept on an air mattress between her table and the wall. Every night I'd lie there listening to my son's soft breathing and promise him silently, fiercely, that this was temporary, that I would fix this, that he would never have to feel small again. 3 months passed like that. 3 months of job applications, food pantries, free clinics, and pretending I wasn't terrified every single day. Then I decided stupidly maybe that my son deserved to see his father. I still believed in co-parenting back then. I still believed people could change. Or at least I wanted to believe it for my boy's sake, so I drove him over. 2 hours each way. He was so excited he barely sat still in the car seat, talking nonstop about how Daddy promised to take him to the park and buy him a new Hot Wheels car. When we pulled up, my ex was waiting on the porch, smiling that big charming smile he still used like a weapon. They hugged. I stayed in the car, engine running, trying not to cry. When I picked my son up later that evening, something caught my eye in the passenger seat of my ex's beat-up sedan. A bright green plastic bag with bold white lettering, State Lottery Big Winner swag. My stomach dropped so fast I almost got dizzy. I knew that bag. Years earlier, before the gambling really took over, he'd won $40-something thousand. They gave him the same kind of flashy bag. T-shirts, a hat, a giant novelty check for photos. He blew through it in 6 weeks. I didn't say anything then. I just buckled my son in, kissed his forehead, and drove away shaking. That night, after my boy was asleep on the air mattress, curled around his shark like it was armor, I sat at Sarah's kitchen table with my phone and started digging. Public records. Lottery winner lists. News articles from small local papers. It didn't take long. 2 months, almost to the day, after we'd been evicted, my ex had won again. $250,000. Cash. After taxes, still well over $200,000 in his pocket. We were still legally married. No divorce papers filed. No separation agreement. Nothing. I sat there in the dark staring at the screen until my eyes burned, feeling this weird mix of betrayal and rage, and God help me, hope, maybe now he'd help us. Maybe now he'd do the right thing. Maybe my son could have a real bed again. Maybe I could stop rationing grocery money. The next day I called him. I kept my voice calm. I told him I knew. I told him I didn't want half, I didn't want to fight. I just wanted enough to get us out of Sarah's dining room. Enough for first month's rent and deposit on a tiny apartment. Enough for my son to have new shoes that fit and a winter coat. Enough so I could breathe. He exploded, screaming, cursing. Told me I was a gold digger. Told me I'd sniffed out his money like a dog. And then, the part that still wakes me up sweating, he said, "You can't even afford to take care of him." I can. Maybe I should just take him. Full custody. See how you like living in someone's dining room without your kid. I hung up. I couldn't speak. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped the phone twice. Sarah found me sitting on the floor in the hallway, sobbing so hard I couldn't catch my breath. She knelt beside me, held my face in both hands, and asked only one question. What's his other ex's number? The one he owes all the child support to. I didn't even think. I just gave it to her. Sarah didn't hesitate. She dialed right there, speaker on, while I sat trembling against the wall. When the woman answered, voice tired, wary, Sarah didn't waste time on pleasantries. Hi, this is a friend of my name. I just wanted you to know your ex just won $250,000 in the state lottery 2 months ago. He still got most of it. Have a nice night. Then she hung up. Less than 5 minutes later, my phone rang. It was prior ex. Let's call her Jenna. She sounded stunned, angry, hopeful all at once. We talked for almost 2 hours. I told her everything. The eviction, the dining room, the lottery, the custody threat. She cried, I cried. 2 women who never met, bonded forever in that phone call by the same man who'd hurt us both so deeply. We made a plan. My ex had agreed grudgingly to pay off the title loan I'd taken out on my car back when we were still together. The loan I used to cover rent the last 2 months before I left. He said he'd meet me at his bank, hand me the cash, and I'd take it straight to the lender to clear the title. I told Jenna the time, the bank name, the branch. The day came. I was sick with nerves. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I kept replaying his threat in my head. Maybe I should just take him. I kissed my son goodbye that morning like it was any other day. Told him mommy had errands, promised ice cream later. He hugged me so tight I almost broke down right there. I drove to the bank. My ex was already inside, leaning against the counter like he owned the place. He looked smug, handsome, cruel. He handed me an envelope. Thick, cash. Exactly the amount for the loan plus a little extra for gas, he said with that fake charming grin. I took it, didn't count it. Just nodded, said thank you, and walked out. As soon as I was in my car, I texted Jenna one line. Bank of the West, Main Street branch. Just happened. Then I sat there gripping the steering wheel, heart slamming against my ribs, waiting. It didn't take long. My phone lit up with a call from him less than 15 minutes later. He was screaming so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. You told her? You think told her. You be asterisk. You ruined everything. I let him scream. I didn't interrupt. When he finally ran out of breath, I spoke quietly, very quietly. You told me I couldn't afford my son. You said you could take him because you had money and I didn't. Now you don't have money anymore. Now we're even. I hung up. Jenna's garnishment hit fast. Bank accounts frozen within hours. The state was already owed over $47,000 in back child support from his 2 older kids. They took everything they could. A month later, the final count came in. About $90,000 left after fees, penalties, interest. She got it all. But here's the part almost no one believes when I tell the story. A few weeks after that, the court went after the new girlfriend. The one he'd been seeing while we were still living under the same roof. The one he got engaged to before I even knew her name existed. He'd given her money, rent, gifts, a new phone, clothes, a vacation. The court ruled it was marital money because we were still married and ordered her to repay it. She fought it, lost, had to write a check. Jenna didn't keep that money for herself. She sent it to me, not a fortune. A little over $4,000 after everything. But when you're starting from nothing, $4,000 feels like breathing room, like hope with a stamp on it. I used it for first month's rent and security deposit on a 1-bedroom apartment, a real place, with walls that were ours. A kitchen table, a bed for my son that wasn't inflatable. 5 years have passed now. My son is 10, tall, funny, kind. He still sleeps with that same shark, though it's missing an eye and most of its stuffing. He doesn't remember the dining room. He doesn't remember the nights I cried myself to sleep. And I'm grateful for that. My ex? He's still with a girlfriend. Still engaged. Never married her, though. She hates me. Hates Jenna more. Posts vague passive-aggressive things online sometimes. We both just shrug. We survived him. That's enough. Jenna and I text every few months. Holidays mostly. Pictures of our kids. Short messages. Thank you again. You too. We don't need long conversations. Some bonds don't require words. I still think about that green lottery bag sometimes. How innocent it looked sitting on his car seat. How it could have changed everything, or destroyed us. Instead, it became the weapon I never wanted to use, but did. Because no one threatens my son. No one uses money as a way to take him from me. No one gets to make my child feel like a bargaining chip. You threaten my son, you lose more than money. You lose the illusion that you're untouchable. And maybe, just maybe, you lose the chance to ever hurt anyone like that again. I don't regret what I did, not for 1 second. Because my boy sleeps in a real bed now. He laughs without looking over his shoulder. He calls me mom like it's the safest word in the world. And that's worth every tear, every scream, every frozen bank account, every hateful text from people who'll never understand. That's worth everything.